Hello and welcome to this presentation which will look at incorporating the novel Coraline by Neil Gaiman into the junior cycle English classroom. I want to start off today and look at some of the learning outcomes. So by the end of this presentation you will understand the rationale behind using this text in the junior cycle classroom. You will also have gained a knowledge on the teaching, learning and assessment methods to be used in teaching Coraline. You'll understand how key skills and cross-curricular links will be embedded in the learning process. And finally, you will consider challenges that may arise for the teacher and learner as well as possible solutions to these challenges. So, first of all, let's have a look at the overview of Coraline. The book is a dark fantasy novella and has been compared to Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. This comes as a result of Coraline's discovery of an other world or an alternative world in the book. The characters range from Coraline Jones, who is our main character, our protagonist, her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, the cat, the other mother, the other father, Miss Spink and Miss Forcible, Mr. Bobo and the three ghost children. The plot is centred around Coraline's discovery of a new world where she finds her other mother, her other father. The world is an alternative world to the one she lives in, and while at first it seems extremely inviting, things don't turn out exactly how Coraline imagines. The themes discussed in the book range from courage, family, fear, versions of reality, identity, good versus evil. These are really good themes to discuss and to explore with a junior cert class. So why is this book appropriate for a junior cycle English group? Well, first of all, the themes, as I said, are relatable to the students. For example, the themes of family, good versus evil, identity are all themes that they can explore in depth and interactively. The language used is accessible yet varied. So while there is a wide range of vocabulary in the book, it is accessible to students, and this also makes it appropriate for a mixed ability class. Finally, the book will encourage literacy skills and reading among students. Reading which is fundamental for personal growth, both emotional and imaginative growth. This is a really good way to get kids involved and excited about reading. I want to look at the teaching, learning and assessment methods used during reading Coraline, and I've broken this into three different sections. So first of all, let's take a look at the before reading section. So before reading the book, you could get the class to work together in groups or in pairs and do some prediction exercises. This could be in the form of looking at the cover of the book and talking about what it might be about, looking at a picture of our main character or some of the other characters and talking about what you think these characters will be like. This is a really good way to get the students involved in the book, excited, to rouse their sense of curiosity and to project them into the world of the book. Another thing that you could do is speculate on the title of the book. Obviously the name Coraline doesn't give it that much away, but it might make them talk about, well, what kind of a person do you think she is? Are her parents based on her name? And another idea would be a prop box. So this would be really to reach out to the kinesthetic learner as well as the visual and oral learner. So by having this, you would have a box with some items which could potentially belong to Coraline. For example, her gloves, a backpack, something like that. The students get to pass them around, touch them, feel them, and discuss what kind of a person she might be like. Again, this projects them into her world and can get them really involved in the story. While reading, there are a number of activities that the students can participate in. For example, a response journal. This is really good because it allows the students to keep track of a personal response to different issues, different events in the story. Furthermore, the students could keep a diary of the main character or possibly even a lesser character. So the students will again be projected into that world and will be using their imagination and become excited about the story if they're keeping diary entries of the person, because they're thinking about how they feel, what they might want, what they might think, etc. Thought tracking. Throughout the novel, as you read, you can stop in certain areas and ask the students to discuss or to write down or even to illustrate, depending on your group, what the character might be thinking at that moment in time. Again, this reaches out to all of the learner types in your classroom and not just one specific group. A class discussion is really important. It allows the students to interact with each other and share their own ideas, thoughts, predictions, feelings about the book, and gets them again involved in the story. exploration of the different themes which we looked at, and also predictions about what's going to happen, what they think might happen next, or even what they think should happen next. Finally, the after reading activities that you can get involved in are creating alternative chapters or endings. So again, this is something that the students would be using their imagination to do. Instead of the ending that exists, maybe they could think of a different ending, or they could follow a character who maybe didn't have a huge role in the book and talk about what happened to them afterwards. Another idea is an interview with a character. Interviews with characters are really good, again projecting them into the story, into the world of that character, and it can be a role play in the classroom, or a newspaper report of events in the book. For example, what happens after Coraline escapes from the other world. They could write a newspaper report about this, and this also links in with different styles of writing which the students will be covering in other parts of the English course. Okay, I want to move on to the key skills. So there are a number of key skills in teaching this book. First of all, communicating. As I said, students working together, expressing their ideas through art, through writing, through speech is a really good way for them to practice their communication skills. Being creative, again, using their imagination, thinking about alternative endings, getting involved in the character's life, in the character's story by using diary entries, etc. Really good way to be creative. Managing myself. So the students will have to manage themselves in terms of where they are in the book. If there is a group reading, maybe some of the stronger students will want to go on ahead, which is fine, but they'll be obviously practicing the skill of managing themselves at that point. Working with others, again, group work, pair work throughout the book, throughout the novel, class discussions, all of these will help them to enhance these skills. And finally, managing information and thinking. So perhaps making timelines of events, thinking about what information is relevant if you're going to interview a character and what questions could be asked. Cross-curricular links that exist. Literacy obviously is a hugely important cross-curricular link in terms of this book. So reading, writing, the students will be practicing these literacy skills throughout. Again, numeracy, organising, listing, timelines of events. There's loads of ways to incorporate numeracy into the teaching of Coraline. And ICT can be incorporated by using clips from the movie which might enhance certain parts of the book, giving the students research tasks, so giving them homework where they have to use the internet, etc. can really help their ICT skills. Religion is a really important cross-curricular link here because it allows them to explore the ideas of morality, heaven and hell, the soul, etc. And art, again, depiction, reality versus imagination and creation are really, really good, interesting cross-curricular links to get involved in with the students. Okay, so potential challenges are time, some students not wanting to read in class, mixed ability, maintaining engagement, and difficulty in analysing the text and recognising themes. These can all be overcome by allowing students to read at home, teacher reading instead of student reading, reading in groups, the pace, giving the students support such as summaries after each chapter if it helps them to recall events. Teaching methods should be interactive and communicative to keep the students engaged, and teacher guidance and an opportunity to develop new skills will help in analysing the text. So hopefully by now you do understand the rationale behind the text, you have gained knowledge on teaching, learning and assessment methods, you do understand how the key skills and cross-curricular links will be embedded, and also have considered challenges that might arise for the teacher and the learner. I hope this will encourage you to use Coraline in your junior cycle English classroom. Thank you for your time.